As you're getting ready to work on The Rise of Skywalker, you sat down with George Lucas again. What was the most important thing that you wanted to learn from him this time around as you got ready to finish the story that he started?
We just wanted to sit down and hear whatever he had to say, and he talked quite a bit about the Force and what it meant to him, and all sorts of things that were less story specific and more about just sort of approach and the spirit with which he felt we should approach our job. And we tried to incorporate as much of that as we could, though he didn't work on the story per se with us. It's not like that was what he was doing, but he was, someone we wanted to hear from as much as he would be willing to talk to us, and he was incredibly generous.
I'm kind of obsessed with the naming of Star Wars characters. I feel like once a Star Wars character is named, that name becomes iconic. And do you have a process for naming characters? Like take Zori Bliss, for example. Where do these names come from?
It's a strange thing. It really is like with everything, with every design, with every sequence, with every costume, anything. It's a feeling of what your gut says, like what is the right thing. A lot of these names are things that just literally they come to us, and we'll live with it for a while, and they defend themselves. Like if it's not quite the right name, you feel it after a few hours, a few days, a few weeks. You start to go, when something feels like it's working, it just sticks. And some characters get named instantly, and that's their name forever. Others go through dozens of names until finally you choose one.
It's an instinct. A feeling. The Force brought us together.
We're looking back at the saga, the 9 films. Do you have a favorite moment, favorite scene from the saga? And maybe it's a scene that you went back to as you were getting ready to work on these films that helped?
Well, I went back to watch all the movies again early on anyway, but the one scene I always go back to just because there's something, there's so many scenes, but from the original New Hope was just the scene where you meet Han. There's just something about meeting Han Solo that is just so instantly timeless, instantly classic. One of the, obviously one of the greatest characters, one of the great scenes. So it's just, for some reason I always go to that. Then as I'm saying it, I start to think of dozens of other scenes. I'm like, yeah, but what about, so it's hard to choose one.
As a Star Wars super fan yourself, what do you hope to see from the next iterations of big screen Star Wars films that come after this one, as a fan?
As a fan, I just want to be surprised. I want to be taken places that I would love to think continues that sense of hopefulness and possibility. That's the thing that Star Wars does, I think, better than anything, which is make you feel like anything is possible, and your new best friend is someone you're going to meet in the most unlikely place. And I just think there's the adventure you're going to go on, the challenges that will be ahead of you, that we're all capable of incredible things. That the family that we make is the family that really matters. There's so many aspects of Star Wars that are profound to me, and in whatever form it takes, those are the kind of elements that I think are about the big heart at the core of Star Wars, which I'd love to see continue.
We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
People keep telling me they know me. No one does.
But I do.
So my first question for you, now that you've seen the completed version of The Rise of Skywalker, what was your first reaction when it ended?
Whoa. Wow. Nearly whoa. Wow. Because JJ's pulled off her masterstroke.
Absolutely, yeah. Really, just the release of energy and emotion that the film created, it's unbelievable.
We're all looking back at the entire saga, all 9 films here. And Anthony, I'm especially interested to hear your answer to this because you have been a part of all of those films. Favorite moments or favorite moment from the saga?
Favorite moment of the saga was so many actually, but coming back for the start of episode 9 with the old team and also Carrie in a certain way being part of it all, and with some new characters coming in, and all the time JJ's wonderful enthusiasm.
I'm gonna keep my answer very brief. Favorite moment, Luke drinking blue milk from
That's a good moment.
That's my favorite. That's just like shows you Star Wars, the way it mixed realism and then fantasy, and that it's just so Star Wars to me, that moment. Just so out of this world, but still grounded in our world.
Long have I waited, and now you're coming together. Is your undoing.
You know, Joonas, one thing that we get a lot of questions about Chewbacca is, does Chewbacca have lines? And do you yell them through the costume at all?
Chewbacca sometimes has lines, and sometimes I ask for the intent, what would the line be, so I can, Wookiee speak that line. So I go, we have to get out of here. So I'm inside the mask, and that's the legibility of my words is they don't hear me very well. So,
but it certainly helps that you make a noise.
It helps, and it's a much better reaction, and I'm able to influence the timing of the dialogue with my grunts and moans.
3PO has a lot more to do in The Rise of Skywalker, and I'm just curious, after 9 films, what's something new that you learned about playing the character this time around?
Well, he is a pretty static character. He is a machine, but it very much depends who he's put against, who are his companions, and very much what the script gives him to do. And in this one, he is given to do something that is quite a challenge, and that's just so refreshing. Otherwise, it is just standing there doing the same thing all the time. So suddenly, I had a real gift from JJ.
Here we are 40 plus years later. What do you think it is about Star Wars that is key, it endures, and it is still so beloved around the world? What would you say then?
That is the second most, the question I get asked, is it hot in the costume, and why does Star Wars endure? What do you think?
I think JJ said it best, and it's the end-all answer to this question. It's the hope, the sometimes naive, but always warranted hope that Star Wars represents.
And George started the first one with
Absolutely.
A New Hope.
The Force will be with you.